my acupuncture teachers really went through this with me in acupuncture school because during the school part of it, I availed myself of thrift shops to just wear something completely different every single day of the entire first year. And the contrast was high between all kinds of outrageous costumes. And that's just what I wore, okay? Never mind what I had to say and what I was doing. So then when I entered clinic, they were all like, what's she going to do? And they were all watching me very carefully. And I was like, hello, my name is Thea and I'm your practitioner. It was terrible. I was completely uptight. And so I took this vow to be totally, it was September, and I took a vow to be totally uninhibited by January 3rd. And people were terrified. They were so scared. They're like, oh my God, Thea Elijah has taken a vow to be totally uninhibited by January 3rd. What's going to happen now? And I told them, it's not about being a jackass. It's about being uninhibited. It's about freedom. And freedom and uninhibitedness does not mean lack of wisdom. A flower is rooted and it has a stem. I'll still have a water element and be rooted in wisdom. I'll still have wood and have direction and straightness. I just want it so that if I refrain from doing something, it's because it was a bad idea to do that. Not because I'm uptight. And so, yes, the rowdiness of fire in health, healthy rowdiness, is the opportunity to get out of our own uptightness and actually allow ourselves to blossom, to free up, to be able to come into a state called propriety, which is the opposite of uptightness. Fire's transformation of virtue. I'm going to just take this and use this as a lead into what the next topic actually is anyway, because I say you know an element and are prepared to look at the points when you know in an element the numerology, the pulse positions, and the transformation of virtue and the body language. You've got the body language. The transformation of virtue is from Ji, which is a type of joy which is a little rowdy. It's a state of excitation that leads to scattering. It definitely raises the pulse rate. It's a woohoo! It's the beating of the drum, and it's like at festivals where there's drums beating and like the kick it up kind of energy. Though it also can be used to indicate anxiety or attention deficit disorder. It's a state of excitation that leads to scattering, which is necessary to get a flower to bloom. Why else do you have that music going at parties? It's like, come on, pump it up. Let's get some flowers open and blooming. So notice the part that's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay in my bud. And consider, instead of clenching the bud, rechecking whether you have wisdom in your roots and whether you have a stem. I should have looked up that Confucius quotation. If anybody knows it, this is a fabulous quotation I don't really remember. That starts, at 15, I set my intention. At 20, my will was strong. At 30, that I don't remember what. At 50, his ear was an obedient organ for the reception of truth. And at 80, he could obey every spontaneous prompting of his heart without transgressing what was right. When we're in, should I do this? Should I do that? I better keep it cramped to keep that. God can't give us messages. We need to be uninhibited in order to be in propriety, to be appropriate. What does it mean to be appropriate? Connected. Propriety is when what's inside there that's like the sun, radiating, that's like a flower, open, is able to be in contact with the sun in other people's chest and in connection with the sun in the cosmos. I'm speaking obviously of Shen rather than the physical, rather than the sun. It's like the macrocosmic Shen is my heart in touch with, connected with the big heart. That's emperorhood. Is it connected with all other hearts? That is propriety. For me to be saying and doing the right thing in any given moment, you know those times when every word that comes out of your mouth is actually what you meant and the other person gets it? Those days. When every move you make, it's like, that's it. And the lights turn green when you show up. That's propriety. It's not uptight at all. It's an open receptor site so that we're actually able to connect.